Sufficient exposure to sunlight is one of the most essential things that we can do to optimize our health, yet approximately half of people worldwide don't get enough sun. Everyone knows that sunlight is great for vitamin D. It's by far the best source of it. If you look at foods rich in vitamin D like fish, you'd still need about 50 ounces of fish per day to get an optimal amount of vitamin D, which simply isn't realistic. Like I said, it's undoubtedly clear that the sun is great for vitamin D, and so this video isn't going to present simple information that's already well known. Vitamin D is just one benefit of many, and so this video will first present all benefits of sunlight, and then explain how to optimally reap such benefits as well. So, what are all the benefits of sunlight? Well, let's start with muscle, and for reference, feel free to take a screenshot of this photo and give a read to the sources I have listed. In terms of muscle, it enhances your protein synthesis, it reduces your myostatin, it stimulates your satellite cells, it promotes hyperplasia, which is the increase of cells in one's tissue or organ, it activates fast-twitch muscle fibers, it increases your testosterone, it decreases cortisol, it boosts your IGF-1, which is essentially a growth hormone. It improves your strength, it optimizes your performance, accelerates your recovery, strengthens your bone density, enhances your insulin sensitivity, replenishes your glycogen, facilitates your digestion, it boosts your energy levels, and much more. In terms of fat, it improves your insulin sensitivity, it balances your leptin, it increases your adiponectin, which I cannot say, but it essentially regulates your metabolism. It improves your skin, hair and nail health, which not really classified as fat, but I don't want to make an entirely new category for it. In terms of brain benefits, it decreases your depression due to serotonin, improves motivation due to motivation, it stimulates brain cells, so neurons, and boosts cognitive function, and it even improves your sleep and adenosine reactions. Fun fact, if you see sunlight in the first 90 minutes of waking, it actually helps regulate your circadian rhythm. It also prevents diseases and illnesses such as cancer, heart disease, blood pressure, type 1 and 2 diabetes, obesity, which, yes, is classified as a disease, leptin resistance, bone disease, multiple sclerosis, depression, autoimmune inflammation, flu, cold, and so on. There's even more than that too. I think it's clearly been established that the sun can provide numerous benefits to the human race. I mean, we've literally evolved with it over time, and it's been fundamental throughout our history. Now, if you want a thorough and articulate explanation of the science behind how sunlight exposure to your body provides all these benefits, from the type of UV ray, getting past the ozone layer and the troposphere, how it converts 7-dihydrocholesterol into vitamin D, I truly recommend that you read the 30 sources that not only were in that photo but are also in the description below. And now assume though that most people are more intrigued on how to actually reap the benefits of sunlight that I've just listed. And so this video will now take a focus on that. So how do we reap the benefits of sunlight? Well, firstly I'm going to talk about how genetics plays a heavy part in sunlight absorption. The darker the skin you have, the less sunlight you can absorb due to melanin. Melanin is, in a sense, a natural sunscreen that blocks sunlight absorption into your body. Why many black people don't use sunscreen, because the darker your skin tone, the more melanin that you have. Based on evolution, before mass immigration started to occur in the world, people who lived in the coldest climates, like Greenland, had the palest skin due to being furthest from the equator. Therefore, despite such little sunlight, people from Greenland can absorb sunlight far better due to having practically no melanin in comparison to someone from, say, Africa, who's far closer to the equator, and therefore has greater sunlight exposure, therefore, due to evolution, has darker skin, and therefore, this means that they have a greater amount of melanin in their body, which, remember, acts as a natural sunscreen. If you live in somewhere like Africa that's very hot, it's quite obvious why over time Africans evolved to have greater melanin in their body to protect themselves from the sun. The downside of this though is that when people with darker skin, so people with a great amount of melanin in their body, come to a region that gets less sunlight like Greenland, you need far more sunlight than someone with paler skin to reap the same rewards. In the UK, for example, due to having a relatively northern latitude, it takes approximately 15 minutes for a white person to get a huge dose of vitamin D from the sun. To get that same huge dose from the sun, if you're dark, it takes approximately 6 to 8 times longer, so roughly 2 hours, to get the same amount. For those that want the reference, the optimal range of vitamin D is 40 to 60 nanograms per milliliter. By the way, vitamin D is fat soluble, so if you have a lot of body fat, you're going to have less vitamin D in your blood, because a lot of it is going to be stuck in your fat tissue. Therefore, you generally need a higher dose than someone with low body fat. We've talked about melanin, so your body's natural sunscreen, that's a product of evolution. But let us now talk about actual sunscreen. Make sure if you're wearing sunscreen, it's only to protect yourself against powerful UV rays. Too much sunscreen, of course, blocks UV rays from hitting your skin, and therefore you won't get sufficient vitamin D. Determining the UV level where you start needing sunscreen depends on your level of melanin, and therefore it's up to you to decide for experience how much you need. In theme with that, also don't use excessive clothing, as it will be far harder for the skin to be exposed to the sun. I want to note, of course, if you have religious obligations, please of course follow them. I'm in no way telling you to disregard that. I do want to share though a really interesting study that I found of how women wearing burqas in a densely populated Muslim area was found that those women were extremely deficient in vitamin D due to lack of sunlight exposure to the skin from covering their entire body. Like I said, please do not disregard your religious obligations. I'm presenting this study to show how excessive clothing can be bad for sunlight absorption into your body. Other ways to reap the benefits of sunlight is to ensure that you have a good amount of magnesium in your body. Your body needs magnesium to transport and activate vitamin D, so being low in magnesium means you won't reap the benefits of vitamin D. Also, make sure you have low stress, as cortisol has a negative effect on vitamin D receptors. You can get UV light from artificial light, but it's very minimal. The sun is far more effective and is also natural. In the UK, during summer, direct sunlight can reach between 80,000 to 100,000 lux at midday, which I've defined in the description if you'd like to take a look. In winter, even on a clear day, it might be around just 20,000 to 50,000 lux, depending on the angle of the sun. The more clouds there are, as well as how heavy those clouds are, the less lux there is. Extremely heavy cloud cover can give light as low as 100 lux, so ensure on cloudy days you're getting even more sun. I find it really intriguing when finding out that studies have been done on athletes, which found that the performance of athletes usually peaks right around the time when the amount of optimal sunlight also peaks. It's like how people in the summertime feel better and perform better than in the winter, due to there being more sunlight exposure, among other reasons of course though. Lastly, when actively trying to get sunlight, avoid wearing sunglasses. If for whatever reason you have to wear them to avoid damage to your eyes though, of course go for it. And obviously don't look directly at the sun though, or something like that. If you have to wear corrective lenses or contact lenses, that's absolutely fine. If you think about what corrective lenses and contact lenses do, they directly focus light onto the retina precisely, instead of having light fall behind or in front of the retina when you don't wear those lenses, which is known as being short-sighted or long-sighted. So that's it. Those are all the benefits of sunlight, and that's also how to reap such benefits of sunlight as well. This is the end of the video, so if you could leave any support, that'd be highly appreciated. Drop a like, drop a subscribe, drop a comment, even if it's constructive criticism. And anything that I haven't included that I found interesting will be in the description. Same with the sources as well. Yeah, that's it guys. See you later.